Content buckets are a marketing term you've likely heard a time or two. And while in theory they seem pretty straightforward, creating strategic content buckets can be a little more complicated. In this video, I'm going to share exactly how you can create strategic content buckets in your business. Content with a purpose, not just fluff. First things first, let's define what a content bucket is. Per Rise Creative, a content bucket is a topic of content that heavily relates to your target audience. Content buckets should be direct, to the point, and focused so that they tell your ideal client what they need to know about you, your business, and your offering, aka what you sell. Thinking practically, your content buckets should show up as categories on your blog, your Instagram posting strategy on your feed, and highlights in your Instagram stories. You want to constantly circle back through your content buckets so that your ideal customer has no question about what you do, why you do it, and who you do it for. The content buckets in your business need to have a direct correlation with your offerings. That is very important, y'all, and typically the missed connection a lot of small business owners make. You might feel like you're talking until you're blue in the face, but the truth is no one knows your business like you do. Your ideal customer does not know the ins and outs of every single service and product that you offer. It's up to you to tell them constantly. As you diversify your offerings, your content bucket should naturally grow too. So your content buckets are like a revolving door. They're always changing, growing, and diversifying as your business grows. For example, let's say you're a website designer and you have 3 revenue streams in your business. You offer custom web design, you sell templates in an online shop, and you offer coaching to fellow web designers and creatives. You need to have content buckets that speak specifically to each of those revenue streams in your business. You should have a content bucket that talks specifically about custom web design. You can share behind the scenes of custom client sites, a look at your design process, and launch celebrations with your clients. You then also need to have a content bucket that talks about the templates that you sell, why your templates are so important, what the templates even are, and why somebody wants your template and not someone else's template. And then you need to have a content bucket that shares about your coaching services. Maybe even just a quick Insta story right before you hop on a coaching call to remind people, hey, she offers coaching. You want to talk about before and afters of coaching clients that have worked with you. And all in all, continue to promote your coaching services. As you can see, just those 3 revenue streams alone give you a lot of content to share. 3 buckets open up a world of possibilities for blog posts, IG stories, and Instagram feed posts. You can then add additional content buckets based on your brand story and brand mission. In the creative small business space, it's very personal. So it's helpful to not only have content buckets that talk about your revenue streams, but have content buckets that help define your brand personality and are unique to who you are. You may decide that you want to have content buckets around a particular hobby that you have, maybe cooking or essential oils or health and wellness. Or maybe you want to create a content bucket that relates to business and personal life, like motherhood and business or ways you find balance as an entrepreneur. Don't think too hard about the personal content buckets, y'all. Just share about what makes you you, and your ideal clients will be engaged in getting to know you as a person, the life and the brand story behind the business. Now, here's an example of how all of these content buckets come into play on your blog and on your Instagram specifically. By using content buckets on your blog, you ensure that you are constantly cycling through various revenue streams and aspects of your brand. Say you blog 1 time a week and you have 7 content buckets. Then in a 7-week time frame, you can literally cycle through every single content bucket on your blog. Or maybe you're in a high booking season, so you're really pushing one particular service, or you're in launch mode and you're really pushing a particular product. Then you can have a 7-week time frame and just push 2 of the content buckets that relate specifically to this one service or offer that you're pushing. You don't have to cycle through every single one individually in that time frame, but it helps you to figure out, have I talked about this enough? Do I need to talk about this one more? Content buckets allow you to really make sure you're diversifying and talking about all of the various services and products that you're offering. And by having content buckets as categories on your blog, it's really helpful to come up with new blog content and not feel stuck with what you're sharing. Okay, now let's talk about Instagram. By using content buckets on Instagram, you can quickly and easily batch all of your feed content. I love to use an app like Planoly for this because I can not only see how my feed looks, but it also automatically posts for me, which is amazing. I'll make sure I link Planoly below for y'all. So let's think about our 7 content bucket strategy. Say you post daily on Instagram once a day and you have 7 content buckets. Then in a 1-week time frame, you can literally hit every single content bucket, which means you'll likely not run out of things to say like you think you will, and you'll constantly be cycling back through all of the things that you want your ideal customer to learn about you and about your services and your products. Now, you do not have to have the exact same content buckets on your Instagram as you do on your blog. For me personally, I have more personal content buckets that I like to share on Instagram because I can really connect with my ideal client in that way. I don't necessarily blog about all of those personal content buckets, yet I like to share about them on Instagram. However, my business content buckets, so those content buckets that relate specifically to revenue streams and my business, are the same across all platforms. I want to be sure that I'm evenly blogging about them and sharing about them on Instagram, even if I throw in a few more personal Instagram content buckets than I do on the blog. I want to challenge you to sit down and write out the content buckets in your business. Start with your revenue streams. What is it that you offer? What are you physically selling, or what is the service that you are providing? Those should be the main content buckets, no questions asked. Then add on personal and brand personality content buckets. Those will allow you to keep attracting your ideal customer and have a little bit of fun when you're marketing your services. If you're feeling a little bit stuck with what those should be, start by just brain dumping topics, y'all. I have a feeling that once you sit down and just write out topics and questions that you'd like to address, you're going to see how they fit together, and you're going to be able to group things into content buckets that you can share on your blog or on Instagram, or both. Once you write down those content buckets, once you've figured out what those buckets are, dig deeper. Dig into the specific content that falls under each category. Remember when I shared about that web designer? She has 3 revenue streams: custom design, a template shop, and coaching. Those 3 content buckets each contain dozens of specific posts and content that she can share. Brain dumping questions and topics that fall under each category will then allow you to easily blog, plan, and batch your Instagram feed in no time. Leave me a comment below if you have questions about creating content buckets in your business. And if you haven't yet, make sure you take the What's Your Creative Personality quiz to get even more free biz resources and customized content specific for you and your business. I'll see y'all next time.